had this awesome idea of like doing a little Instagram live collab. And we always have the best chats and the best texts and empowering each other and sending like encouraging messages. And we just thought, like, why not share with our audiences like some of our top 10 well-being strategies that help us. We are the type of people that we practice what we preach. So everything we say today is like things that we do, but just to live our best life. And there's during times of uncertainty, but also beyond these times of uncertainty, when things lift, when life maybe gets back to somewhat of a normal situation. These are all practices that you can pick and choose from and completely integrate into your life where you see fit. So also with the caveat that, listen, like, we totally understand there's so much going on for many people right now. Some people are insanely busy homeschooling children while working full-time jobs and like hardly have a minute to themselves. Totally understand that. So whatever we say today, this is like a zero pressure environment. I'm of the mindset that, like, don't take anything like, oh my gosh, now I have to do all these things. Like, where am I going to find time for this? It's like, listen, like, if you can take like one practice that like resonates with you, if that's something like maybe you could take 5 minutes and incorporate into your week or your month, like, you're winning. Like, it's all good. And really, this is just to help enhance your life and not add pressure or add any like stress. Like, it's more just like, hey, like, these are some really great things you could do, but only if you have time and zero pressure. So just want to make sure that that's super clear.
Absolutely. Love it.
Yeah. So should we get started on our top 10 list?
We should get started. I'm going to get
started. You're up.
Okay. Number one. Numero uno in Espanol. Wake up early. I know I'm not a morning person either, but wake up early, okay? Now, I got this idea when I read the 5 a.m. club. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. I'm sorry. But if you just slowly start to inch back that time clock just a little bit, you're giving yourself more time, right? Before your kids wake up, before you got to take care of your dog, before any of your daily pressures or your daily responsibilities kick in. What I also want to put alongside with this is don't touch your cell phone. Don't touch your cell phone for the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you can do, and slowly start to inch it. Wake up, go and get your morning coffee, your morning tea, your morning water, whatever. Leave the cell phone wherever it's plugged in and start your day. Start thinking about, just early morning start. Move your body a little bit. Maybe you want to add a meditation in there. Organize your day. Start waking up all those brain cells. So I really didn't believe this, but I was like, okay, I'll give anything a shot. So I started actually doing like trial and error. I wrote out a month-long schedule, and I said, any day that I can wake up early and I choose to listen to my alarm and not say snooze 17 times, I write down at the end of the day if it was a good day or a bad day. And did I wake up early? Did I get movement in the morning? And did I leave my cell phone alone? Like in the morning part, right? And every day where I was like, God, that was a good day. I got so much accomplished. It's because I did that. And I gave myself, that 5:20. I mean, the 5 o'clock club says an hour, but you got to start small, right? So that was just genius for me, and I've been doing it. I've been trying to do it ever since. There's always the off days, right? Where you're like, no.
But then say you have the self-awareness of being like, oh, it's such a crappy day, and then you look back and go, oh, wait, I rolled over, picked up my phone, or I slept in till 9, or you know what I mean? So totally. It's not about being perfect. It's about you already are so self-aware that's kind of did start your day on the right foot for you, and that makes sense for you.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Awesome.
Totally. Yeah, so that worked for me.
Yeah, amazing. Number 2.
Oh, another one with me. Okay, daily movement, daily sweat. I mean, as I said in my introduction, I'm a personal trainer. I strongly believe that doing daily movement is going to allow you to become more in touch with your body, which is going to allow you to be more in touch with yourself, which is going to allow you to be just living your best life, not my best life, not Keri's best life, but your best life, right? So endorphins, the happy chemical, dopamine, the motivational, and there's also NAD, which is something that actually allows you to be quicker. So you can think like, oh, what was that name of that movie called? Boom, you're actually developing a stronger brain. NAD. I can't pronounce the whole word, so it's NAD, which allows you to get information.
A stronger NAD.
Stronger NAD. And it allows you to get there quicker. So once again, hey Lisa. Yeah. So it allows you to get Pamela a better day, more accomplished, right? Like and then at the end of the day, you're not going, oh, I still have to work out. Just get it done at the beginning of the day, even if it's honestly 5 minutes. Do cat, cow, down dog, whatever your body feels, right, Pamela? So yeah, daily movement I think is a must, and it doesn't have to be an hour-long workout. It doesn't have to be a 5-kilometer run. Just do something to say like, hey, how you doing? How you doing, body? Okay.
Yeah, I love that. I can totally tell the difference when the days I don't exercise. I'm like, the endorphins, the dopamine, and the NAD.
The NAD. You're not as quick, right?
No.
Yeah.
Sluggish. Yeah. No, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
So, number 3, rest, recharge, recover. So, burnout culture, this is sort of my wheelhouse. I have been burnt out 2.5 times, I like to say, in my career and in my life. I've recovered from burnout, and now I help teach and coach others how to prevent burnout, but also how to recover from burnout if they've already kind of going through it. The thing is, like, before the coronavirus started, and maybe even during for some people as well, because some people are busier than ever, we live in such a burnout culture, everything's stressed out, deadlines, everything is in like urgent. And, it's when we actually prioritize rest, recharging, and recovering, not just during this phase and this season of our lives right now, but also in general, especially utilizing our weekends for that is so important. So it helps with burnout. Also, some people are experiencing grief. There's the 5 stages of grief right now. They're missing their old lives, or they're sad that the future plans that they had made are being canceled. Grief has 5 stages, and we're jumping all over the place, and they're not linear. You're not going through each 5 stage and you're done and you've graduated. It's like you're jumping around from each stage, and that's okay. So rest, recharging, recovering, and we're going to get into some of those modalities and practices you can do a little bit later in this conversation. It's really important to give yourself permission to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. So when you are feeling good in your body, in your mind, in your emotions, you bring a higher vibration to others. And when you've rested, don't feel guilty about that. If you are tired, go have a nap. These are things that you need to give yourself permission for. Epsom salt baths. Okay, these are, when we talked about this the other day, we were like, what do you think of when you hear self-care? And self-care is such such an overused word and term now. It's almost like nobody wants to hear self-care, but and we both said it at the same time. We were like, Epsom salt bath, with the candles and the lavender and the essential oils. Oh, totally. And that's exactly it. But Epsom salt baths are amazing. Helps you detox your body, relax your muscles, calm your mind. So it's not just like, oh, I'm lazy, I'm laying in a bath full of warm water. It's like, actually, you are doing things. Like, your body needs this important self-care practice. So, there's just a lot of things we need to do. And giving ourselves permission to put that oxygen mask on ourselves first to rest, recharge, and recover is so important during times of stress, during times of grief, just after a busy day. It's
totally
okay. It's okay to recharge your batteries. So that is number 3.
And no phone in the bath. No phone in the bath.
No phone in the bath. Yeah, good point.
If you need to, maybe Netflix or something, fine, but just, try and be quiet. For, just quiet.
Soft music, romancing yourself a little. Yeah. Soft music. Yeah, I do soft music and candles, and, it just feels relaxing. It feels like you're just taking care of yourself, Like a really good solo date,
Yeah.
Okay, number 4. The benefits of surrender and the mind-body connection. So mind-body connection is something I speak to a lot with my clients, a lot of people in my life, especially as a Reiki practitioner, because when we understand that the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and attitudes can positively or negatively impact our vibration and our biological functioning, that's when we can really start to connect with ourselves. And it doesn't mean that we're not going to have negative thoughts or negative beliefs ever. Of course not. What that means is just being conscious of that connection. And so, for example, What I like to do is even just like a 1-minute exercise. It might be to like close your eyes and do a body scan. So from your toes all the way to your head, and just like, okay, how do my toes feel? How do my shins feel? My knees? You know, you get the picture. Like go up your body, do a body scan. That's what we call it. Notice where you're tight and where you're clenching in your body. Is your back feeling tight? Is your stomach feeling kind of like, oh, there's like a little twist in my stomach, or you know, a creaky little shoulder? Notice, right? Notice your thoughts. What thoughts are coming through? And then really just sending these areas of your body, your thoughts, some extra love, and even like a virtual hug, and then letting them go. So just like stop hanging on so tightly, because I think that's the thing too. I think in life we're hanging on to that toxic relationship, we're hanging on to that really difficult boss, and we're hanging on and we can't, and Jenny's going to get into this a little bit more in a bit about ego and that sort of thing. We're hanging on and clenching so tight, it shows up in our body, and it shows up and it can start showing. It starts in our energy centers, which is where Reiki is amazing. It starts to clear the energy centers, the chakras. It starts in our energy centers and moves into our meridians, and it moves into our organs and then our tissues. And that is the order in which it starts to surface. So then you get injuries. And sometimes people don't even understand. They weren't in a car accident. They didn't hurt themselves. Nothing happened, but they're having pain in their bodies. Well, that could be the mind-body connection. So I think it's just so important to just like really give ourselves some love, send those thoughts, send those parts of our body some extra like breathing, some extra love, and then try to release and let it go.
Yeah. And I want to touch on that too, because as a body worker, like when I get a client and I can see that they are like just a more tense human, right? Holy moly, the body awareness is not there. So
that's right.
So
people disconnect from their bodies. Like their brains are over here and their bodies are like, help, help, help. And your brains are like, no, they're not even paying attention.
So people who have, you know, the upper traps that are super, super tight, and they're like, oh, I need a massage. And it's like, no, you don't need a massage. You need to become more aware of your body and where you're holding your tension. And like, maybe you clench your jaw at night. Oh, I've always clenched my jaw at night. But why? Right? Like you are the boss of your body. So you can pay all this money and get a personal trainer and get RMT and get a chiropractor and stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, those are just Band-Aids. Like you need to do the work. We are the resources. You are the conductor.
Yeah, and there's an amazing book. It's totally too. There's an amazing book by Louise called Heal Your Body, and it's like a guide, and literally you can look up different parts of your body. Say for example, you have an injury in your knee. It'll actually she writes this beautiful book about like the emotional connection to that knee injury, and then an affirmation you can say to yourself. And like 9 times out of 10, it is bang on. Like I use it all the time. Like UTIs, yeast infections, anything, like any women problems, any injuries in your body.
What is the name of this book again? Do you remember?
It's called Heal Your Body. Heal Your Body.
Write this here. Heal
Your Body by Louise Hay, Hay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic book. For mind-body connection, it literally like tells you what the emotional connection is to that injury, and it's fantastic. I like that. It's so true. Like I love what you said about like if you deal with the emotional centers, the ripple effect is going to be better physical health. Like
100%.
Physical, emotional, and mental. Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. So let's move on to number 5. It kind of like segues number 5. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Number 5, Cinco de Mayo is today. It's the 5th of May. So I feel like number 5 is going to be a good one. All right. So self-aware. So self-talk basically is what I want to start with. So what I started implementing into my life, just like you said in the introduction, like we are what we preach. So like these aren't just things that Keri and I are like, oh, I read this and this should work. Like Keri and I we live this
practice.
So yeah, I started like self-talking about 2 or 3 years ago when I was not happy at all. Hey, Julia! I wasn't happy, and I was like, okay, Jen, like you got to figure this out. So I started talking to myself in the mirror, and I started doing video diaries, and the video diaries were so insanely effective because when I would watch them back, I would see my facial expressions, and I would see when I talked about certain subjects, how like, I would be, or like, I don't know what to do. And I would see the expression, so it was almost like I was counseling myself. And I've had 4 self-love clients online in the past 3 months. And this is what I give them for homework. And some of them are like, that didn't work for me, and they prefer journaling. But at the end of the day, you need to get whatever's going on in here or going on in here, you have to get it out. So you either have to get it out through this guy or through this guy, right? And
I agree.
Right? And so that's self-talk, right? And then I'm a huge believer in I'm a huge believer in internal self-talk too. So when you're going through difficult, I'm just going to relate this to me when I was training for running. Training for running was the worst experience of my life. But you know what I mean? Like, they were like, you love running. I don't love running. I like the goal of like hitting that 21.5 kilometers. I think that I like goals. So when I would be hitting a point in my running room, like, and that dialogue starts, and it's like, oh, just stop. You're tired. Like, you didn't sleep well. You didn't eat well. Like, Jen, you don't need to, right? And then this one. And this one, the little trainer would always use my name. They'd be like, Jen, you can do this. Jen, you're strong. And I wasn't like, I am strong. I was like, Jenny is strong. Jen, you're doing great. So it was almost like I was talking to myself in the third person. And I realized this, and I kind of did a little bit of research on it. And there's proven facts, and they teach this to athletes, that when you self-dialogue in the third person, it's more effective than if you dialogue yourself in I can do this. I am strong. I am smart. Say no. Say Keri is strong. Keri can do this. Keri is like a badass entrepreneur, So there is studies that show self-internal dialogue works with anything that you're trying to get accomplished. Anytime you're feeling down, try and talk to yourself in the third person.
I love that.
Last little bit is manifestation. Do you ever manifest?
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
I started doing vision boards, and with that, things started coming true. So like, I remember I wanted a new car, so I put this like Honda Civic 2014 Honda Civic on my vision board. 4 months later, I had it. It was bizarre, and it wasn't even like that I was looking for it. It came and it landed on my lap. So it was interesting that what I was envisioning was coming true. I just absolutely, it blew me away. So obviously I keep doing that over and over and over again. And that can also be done in a form of like writing. Like, for example, what do you want your week to look like? Like, put a little calendar and be like, I would like my Mondays to look like this. Maybe I don't start until noon because I'm not a Monday person, but I work until 8 and I have my break here. If you write it down, or if you put it in something that's visual, there's so much more possibility of it becoming true because you're seeing it, you're thinking it instead of just thinking it. Maybe you're even talking about it. Maybe you're seeing it, thinking it, and talking about it. That's going to send so much more awareness to the universe that this is what you really want, right?
Oh man, I could rabbit hole on this because it's all about vibration, right? Like, so your self-talk awareness is how this links up to this, right? You talk about self-talk when you're talking with like, yes, Jenny, you are a runner, you are amazing, you can do this. That raises your vibration. When your energetic vibration is at a higher frequency, you are attracting higher frequency people, situations, behaviors.
Wow.
Your dreams are coming true. You're opening up portals that you never thought were possible. Like you said, it just landed on your lap. You're like, I wasn't even looking yet. It was something you wanted like 10 years from now or 5 years from now.
Yeah, totally.
But like it happened in 4 months. It's like, well, as soon as you set that intention, your vibration, and you had a deserving of it. So you had to feel deserving of that. You lifted your vibration, right? You lifted your vibration, and that the car has its own vibration, right? It's a dream of yours.
Yeah.
And that car connected with your vibration, like attracts like, just like a battery, right?
Wow.
Like an AA battery, right? So it connected to you. So that's how it happens. So that's how the self-talk can, like, improving your self-talk improves your vibration. Improving your vibration creates manifestation of, like, anything.
So do you think that the more avenues you manifest, like I said, I would write about it, I would think about it, and then I also do a vision board on it, that's going to increase
you would, like, repeating. Do you remember, like, in elementary school, I don't know, like, I know I'm older than you, but we used to have to do lines if we got in trouble, like, on the chalkboard. Like, I will do better. Like, some of the guys in elementary school would get in trouble, and they'd have to write lines. Like, I will not kick a soccer ball in a girl's face. And they'd have to do it over and over and over again. It was, like, punishment.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm flipping that on its head for a second. Bear with me. But, like, if you write lines, like, it used to be a punishment as a kid, but, like, you write lines as, like, I am the best runner. Like, I'm going to hit this goal by this time, or this run time at this half marathon. Yes. I'm going to create this, I'm going to manifest this car into my life. Writing it out is already, like, again, it's another method of heightening your vibration, your vibrational frequency. And then your brain, as you're repeating it, your ego comes in and says, no, you can't do that, right? No, that's not possible. But then your actual body goes, yeah, I do believe it, actually. Thanks, ego. Like, thanks anyways. Thanks for trying to protect me, but I've got this. Yeah. Right? Your ego's just trying to protect you. It's not a bad thing.
I know.
So your body's like, no, I do believe it, after repeating it over and over again. And you manifest it. So it's like, all of it's all connected. It's amazing.
That's super cool.
Yeah. I'll bet you like, everyone has a story, at least one story that they can remember, like, oh yeah, I did repeat this over and over again, or I did put that out into the universe or whatever, and it came to me so quick, and I was like, well, you opened a portal. You're like, I heightened my vibration, I believed it could happen, and it showed up. But it doesn't matter about time. If you wanted it in a week and it comes in a year, it still came, right? Like, time is, people want things so quickly nowadays, especially with Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
I know.
Setting us up for failure.
Totally. I can talk about vibrations, like, for hours. We could do a whole other one on that one.
I want to know more about vibrations. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's so fascinating to me. Okay, number six. Number six. So how to integrate emotional and mental health support at home. And really this goes into self-care techniques. And as I said earlier, I know self-care can be a bad word. People are tired of self-care strategies, self-care this, self-care that. But to be completely honest, you can call it whatever you want. I think as women, especially generationally, like, I don't know about you, but my grandma, she didn't know what self-care was. She sure wasn't taking care of herself. She was so busy taking care of everybody else, taking care of her husband, taking care of her kids, to take a minute to herself, she'd feel guilty about. So, like, I think generationally we are getting better at realizing that if we don't put the oxygen mask on ourselves first, we're not going to function very well in our careers, in our families, in our life. So really, one important thing I've noticed, especially during this pandemic, is people need to make sure they're taking personal timeouts and having boundaries at home. Because at the end of the day, like, some people are living in apartments and they've got children and husbands, and, like, everything's just so close together. Both of you are working from home. It's a lot, and everyone's in your personal space. So even just taking, like, 5 minutes a day, or even just, like, 30 minutes a week to just come into your bedroom alone, no kids, no husband, and just, like, do some journaling, do some meditation, do some breathing techniques, have, like, your diffuser on with essential oils, like, have that Epsom salt bath, but just really prioritizing. I don't even mean taking. I'm prioritizing personal timeouts and boundaries at home a few times a week, even if it's for 5 minutes. Like, honestly, it's going to be a life changer. Again, going back to energy, when you're always in everybody else's energy, you've got your husband's energy and your kids' energy and everyone else. Your energy is like, you don't even know who you are anymore, because everyone else has latched onto you. Taking that 5 minutes to just, like, do some, like, breathing, holding your heart, holding your belly. You can't see my hands, but holding your heart, holding your belly, and just doing some breathing, and just letting the thoughts come through, and don't attach to them, and just close your eyes and breathing for 5 minutes. And there's a beautiful breathing technique called square breathing.
Yes, I was hoping you would bring this up.
Yeah, it's like, I love it because it takes, like, literally under 4 minutes. But what it is, it's all fours. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and you do all of that 4 times. That is it. You can do it while you're on a Zoom call at work on mute, and like, I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I used to.
Sorry, I was just meditating.
Yeah. Like, go off camera, mute, and then just do your square breathing. I've actually had to do that before, but anyways, it literally brings down it brings us into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest. Where we're living at high stress lives is our sympathetic nervous system is kicking in, and that is our fight, flight, and freeze. So that's like the caveman days, saying, oh my gosh, I'm being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, and they're like running or chasing or ready to pounce,
Totally.
and it's just like your adrenaline goes up, and that feeling of just like your blood rushing to your face. Like,
it's exhausting.
Literally, you should not be feeling like you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger once to 30 times a day. That is like your adrenals are being are really going to be depleted. And I've experienced adrenal fatigue. It's terrible. It's an awful thing to experience. And there's a lot of depression and anxiety and just like other stress-related health issues that come with having that. So really that's being in our sympathetic nervous system for too long of a time. Like, a lot of people live there. So parasympathetic nervous system, for like the square breathing, like I said, the 4s, it's so helpful.
I love
just to
that.
bring us back down to grounding. It doesn't mean our problems aren't still out there. It just means that we have a better, clearer mindset to go and tackle those problems with a clearer brain. So, and our nerves aren't completely shot. We're just like more in our bodies.
And I just want to touch base on, like, this is possible. This can happen as well to someone who doesn't live with anybody. Because
that's very true,
right? Like, for example, me, I don't live with anybody, but when this all started going down, and even before, I would get stressed out. It was because I was on my phone, or I was on my laptop, or I was watching Netflix. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just was constantly getting stimuli, constantly, that I was never in the quiet anymore, you know? So if your life is, I mean, I'm sure a lot of our life is online now, right? That's where we work. And then, of course, on top of that, that's how we're going to socialize. Like, that is our outlet. That's our only outlet right now.
Yeah.
So you might get overwhelmed from that. In fact, I believe you would. So when I'm saying, like, wake up, don't look at your phone. Don't look at your phone for the first 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Just be you, right? Do some movement, do some meditation. Or midday, just like you said, you know, go away from your kids and your dog and your husband or your wife, and just like take a time out for yourself. Same, drop your phone, drop your laptop, turn off the TV, turn off CNN, and just be.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
Even if you don't have other energies, you do. Your phone is energy, your laptop is energy, right? And
all of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah.
So
number 7.
Number 7, siete. Okay, so intuition versus ego. Intuition, the best way to explain it is basically like that gut feeling, or that like voice in the back of your head that's always kind of like telling you what to do, or it's that feeling of like, ooh, something's not right here. And I did research on this, and you know what? We can all learn how to listen to our intuition, but some of us are born with like a better ability to listen to our intuition. So sometimes some people can really, really listen. Like, I think I have the ability to listen, because I even remember going over to one of my neighbors' house, and they were all boys, and they wanted me to jump off the tree with them, you know, and they're like, come on, Jenny, jump off this tree, like, show us how cool you are. And my ego, hey, help me! My ego was like, yeah, Jenny, you got to do it. You got to prove to the neighbor friends that you are cool. So as I'm climbing up, and I got that voice in my head, and it wasn't fear. It was like, don't do it, Jenny. Something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. And sure enough, sprained my ankle. Another example of ignoring my intuition and listening to my ego was a boyfriend dating a guy. And I was like, okay, this guy can do a lot for my, he can do a lot for my reputation. I think he's going to be good. So my ego was like, I should be with this guy because it's going to look good, and people are going to be impressed by me, and he's hot, and blah, blah, blah. But my intuition, my gut was like, oh, God, this isn't good. And I stayed with him, not that long, but the more and more I stayed with him, I started getting rashes. My body started talking to me. I got rashes, tummy aches, headaches. I never get headaches, right? So when I have friends or clients that are like, I don't know what's going on with you. Like, I always get this tummy ache when I hang out with this person, or I don't really know. I'm like, that's your intuition. Just listen to it. We just got to listen to our intuition. Our bodies
know first. Yeah. Our bodies know first. Absolutely. And we don't listen to our bodies enough. Absolutely.
No. And sometimes the intuition is coming through in like an indecision. Like if you're trying to make a decision of maybe to take a job opportunity or not, and you can't really figure it out, and you want to know the answer but you can't. I think that's when quiet and maybe like writing in a diary or doing self-dialogue could really help you figure out the answer, right? Because that's your brain and your intuition like battling out each other, right?
Yeah. Oh, so true.
Or like instant fatigue where you're just like, oh, I'm so tired. Like, I don't know what happened. I'm just like so tired today. That's because your intuition's trying to tell you something. I don't know what it's trying to tell you. You're the only person that can figure that out. But once again, quiet, stop moving, stop thinking, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, a 5-minute check-in. 5-minute check-in. I love that. So true.
Yeah.
I know. But usually we're just like, oh no, I'll just distract myself with my phone or work or whatever it is in order to, like, it's like running from the problem instead of actually going in and checking in with ourselves on what that problem might be and how to solve it. All of our answers are on the inside. All of our answers.
And our intuition doesn't always give us the answer we want to hear.
No.
I'm like, no. Yeah. I don't want to do that. I want the easy route. Oh.
But it's what's best. Yeah. Always.
But in the long term, it's the best way to go. So, yeah. And there's a lot of tips and tricks too on solely on intuition on the internet. Like I was doing research the past few days, and it's a lot of tips and tricks if you feel like you're disconnected from your intuition.
Yeah,
you know?
It really does take practice. The thing is that we're all very intuitive beings. That's why we're human and we're not like mammals, like running the Sahara Desert right now. But like we have this innate ability, but we only use like 10% of our brain. Like we all have the intuition, the intuitive gene. We all have it, but it is about practicing it, tapping into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Anna.
I love that.
Hey, girl.
Awesome. Okay, number 8.
Hey, Ocho.
So recalibrating your likes, values, and priorities. So what I'm finding for myself interesting during this global pause is just like really noticing what I like, and I like make things that make me uncomfortable, things that make me like feel joy, things that make me maybe unhappy, or just like, and I mean, nothing can really make me unhappy. Only I can make me happy or unhappy. It's more just like noticing things that, like, kind of what we said earlier, like what are energetically depleting me. Like I feel exhausted when I encounter these situations, or it gives me energy. Like that's where I feel my intuition come in a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, like that brings me so much joy and gives me energy. Like that's something I'm attracted to. I need to do more of that. But half the time we ignore the things that bring us joy because we have bigger responsibilities, and not that we ignore it, but we just don't have time for it, and we can't always prioritize it. But I'm shifting that mindset. Like this pandemic has taught me, like, spend more time in joy, doing things you love. It's a life enhancer. It really is, and it's not just theoretical. Like, try it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, when you consciously try to add more joyful activities, thoughts, or behaviors to your life and just follow your bliss, it really does pay off. And having things coming into our lives that we don't like, or maybe brings up feelings, negative feelings, is still a good thing because it teaches us what we don't want more of in our life, and we can choose the opposites. So not to say everything's always positive, and this is the thing in coaching. Like I love positive psychology and all of that. I'm just fascinated by it. But I'm not always like rainbows and roses. I have feelings too. I can get angry. I can have toxic thoughts. But I'm observant of those toxic thoughts. I'm observant of like what makes me feel anger or fear. And I will dig into that and research it. So then I'm more self-aware on how I can remedy the situation. You know what I mean? So it's not about always being rainbows and roses, because life is going to throw you challenges. But these are the types of things that we're teaching today. Is like, these are the tools for your tool belt. So when you are having a challenge, you can grab that tool from your tool belt. But we were never raised with these tools or tool belts. I wasn't. So it's like, it's so nice to have these. And again, it's not that there won't be challenges in life. Like, life is always going to throw challenges. But then you have the confidence that whatever comes your way, you can handle it. That's the difference, right?
Exactly.
So recalibrate. Go ahead.
I don't like it when people go, oh, well, I've never been a morning person, or I've never, you know, and they just they almost like take this characteristic and they just like put it on and be like, well, I'm always I'm never gonna be a runner, or I'm
that's ego, but
that's ego. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, why don't you just take the feeling and recognize it and feel it? As opposed to being like,
dig into why that is. Like, why is that? And is that actually true? Is that an outdated belief from childhood that no longer serves you today? Like, it doesn't make sense. So could be really good reasons for that. But like, keeping an open mind opens you up to more possibilities, right?
Absolutely.
And again, it's not that life is always rainbows and roses. It isn't. It's about how we handle and how we can adapt to situations. I think that makes us strong ones.
100%.
And that moves into, think about what new hobbies, behaviors, or activities you've uncovered about yourself in the last few months, and how you want to continue to incorporate these habits into your life after this lives. Because I think that's important. So think about your values, think about your priorities, think about the things that bring you joy that you've recently discovered about yourself. Maybe you just recently learned like an online pottery class, and you're like, why didn't I do this before? And it wasn't until this pandemic that I had time to even try this. Well, how do you incorporate that once, say, you're back to work full time and the pandemic lifts? How do you incorporate that? Like, not just drop it and say, I did that one thing one time, right? Like, how do we weave these into the rest of our lives?
Yeah. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Carly. Yeah, look at all these lovely, amazing women.
More people.
So we were talking last night. Do you want to touch base on what we were saying kind of about working through the problems as opposed to just kind of like putting it deep down, because then it's going to boil up and it's going to become something again, right? Like, we all know people in our life, and it might be ourselves, they just kind of like push things down and they just go, oh, whatever. It's like, no, you need to feel that feeling. You need to talk about it, you know?
Yeah.
So do you want to touch base on that?
Yeah, sure. I love that. So, the big thing I know, so the big thing I work with my clients on, and actually a lot of friends as well, is the belief that women aren't supposed to feel anger. There is just sort of like a generational, I don't know where it's come from, probably from like the 50s. From like the 50s, the Mad Men days or something. Right? Like,
it came from men, is what it came from.
Yeah, it's patriarchal for sure. So it's like, that's the thing. So it's like, it's very much, So men believed at some point that women shouldn't have anger or have any negative emotions. They should look pretty and like be smiling and happy all the time. And really, because it makes the men feel better about themselves, right? So at the end of the day, and I coach clients on this all the time, female clients, is like, listen, it's important to feel that anger. If something's bubbling up in you and really making you angry, take a look at that. And under anger is always fear. So even in a man, so in any human. So it's like, if they're angry about something, it's because they're scared of something happening and it comes out as anger, but underneath it all, it's always fear. So that's something to know. Secondly is like, when it comes to anger, don't ignore it. Take a look under the hood of that anger and be like, whoa, why am I angry? Instead of pushing it down. The reason being, like you said, want to go through. It's almost like when you see a big wave come at you at the beach. You don't want to, like, you can't just dodge it. You're going to drown. Like, you're going to, even if you try to dodge it, you're going to drown. And you pretty much most likely won't outrun it. You have to swim through it. And it might be scary and it might be uncomfortable, but literally for a minute, like less than a minute, probably like 2 seconds. Go through it, work through it. So take a look underneath that anger. Take a look. That might be scary for some people, but it's actually the best thing you can do. And it's not that painful. You maybe uncover some things of like, this situation made me angry because, oh yeah, and then you connect it to a situation maybe that happened in childhood. And then you can go, okay, I'm safe. I'm here. This childhood situation is in the past. I am here today, and I'm not that 7-year-old child. I am an aged person that can handle this now. My inner child is safe. I am safe. And then you move on. It's like literally as simple as taking a look. But I think so many people feel feelings, whether it's anger or any other emotion, like this is uncomfortable, push, like get out of here. Instead of just like, I feel this feeling, sitting with it, feeling it, and then letting it pass, letting it go. So it's like, it's so important to just let that feeling pass through.
Yeah.
Did I cover it?
Is. Yeah, no, you did. Like, just when Keri, when we were talking about this last night, it really hit home for me because, I mean, I'm 34, I'm not old, I'm not young, but like, that took a really long time for me to figure out. Yeah. And I know there are so many humans out there that if they did just feel the feelings, whether it be, scared, fear, depression, like just feel the feelings and get through it. That wave analogy, like, I think all of us have been in a situation, where we're like, in the water, and then we turn and we see this massive
and we're trying to run from the wave or run from the feeling.
Yeah. Right? No, that is such a good analogy. Oh, I have goosebumps from that. Yeah, you got to dive in. You got to get a little tumble, but at the end of the day, that's the only way to get through.
Well, and you're going to be stronger for it. And then that feeling no longer controls you either. Because when you keep dodging it, you're just pushing it down. The next time you get mad, oh my gosh, it's going to be double worse, triple worse. You're gonna like be a volcano because you've pushed down all this anger for so many weeks, months, years. No. Handle it. Like, and it's typically, what is this? Take a look at it. What's going on here? I'm feeling it. What is this? Do some research, investigate it, and then be like, okay, journal it out, talk to the person you need to talk to, deal with it, handle it, and then it's past. It's gone. The memory's still there, but it's no longer emotionally triggering enough that it's controlling your life.
And in it, you'll see like correlations and that like, okay, well, this angered me with this person, and I just didn't pay attention to it. And now I'm in a new relationship, and now it's angering me again, but it's 10 times worse. Oh, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm too lazy. I don't want to talk to them about it. It's so awkward. And then again, you see it repeating itself. And it's like, okay, well, clearly I need to do something about it because it keeps coming up, right?
The lessons will keep repeating themselves until you learn them. And that's like a universal, so relationships, so many people are in the same relationship over and over again, different names, different humans, but like same relationship because they're not healing their stuff. They're not taking a look at their stuff and being like, why did I choose this style of person? And it's like, and it's still upsetting me. It's like, we have to learn from those things. It doesn't make us wrong. We're not bad people. No. We're just human. And nobody wants to feel pain, but it's okay. It's okay. Just know that you're safe. It's okay to feel. Yeah.
It's good to feel.
Nobody died from feeling. Their feelings. I mean, right. I just thought of that. Like, nobody died from feeling.
That's a good one. Yeah. Should make that into a meme.
A meme.
A meme. That's what they call it in Spanish, a meme. I'm like, what's a meme? They're like, on Instagram. I'm like, oh, a meme. Anyway, sidetrack.
I mean, you're right. Meme doesn't make sense. And anyway. So, okay, we've got 2 left. So number 9. Oh, we've got 11 minutes before we get cut off. Okay. So this kind of touches on something you've already talked about, Jenny. So like reducing social media and news, but increasing being virtually connected to friends and family that are positive. So like reducing your connectivity on like scrolling social media, CNN on in the background, like all day, all night. I mean, like social media can be very draining. There's also it could be creating a comparison trap in you, which isn't good for anyone's like mental health. If you're like following people that you're like, oh, I should be skinnier. Oh, I should be more active. Oh, I should quit with the shoulds, by the way. Like, it's just not helping you. And like the thing is at the end of the day, it's like if social media gives you energy and makes you feel good about yourself, great. But even still, like, just control the scrolling to a certain amount of time per day, or just reduce it a little bit, right? And the news is so fear-mongering. I mean, if you really must stay informed, because some people do, I like staying in my little ignorance bubble personally. I don't have the news. I don't have cable. But But if you must stay informed, because some people really like to, that's totally cool. But choose one app or one channel you check in on once a day, and then turn it off, and then go on about your day. Like, if you really must have to stay connected, but it's just so triggering and so fear-mongering, it's not good for anyone's mental or emotional health.
It's a business.
I know. Media. Totally.
Then
that's exactly it. And so when we reduce the social media and the news connection, but increase, like, take that time now that you have and, like, text a loved one, call a loved one, FaceTime, and, practicing vulnerability and compassion. So sharing with them what you're going through right now creates a really beautiful connection, because they're probably going through something similar, and now you've, like, learned that about each other. And then, or if you're actually not really sure, I did a post about this yesterday, like, we're in the same storm, but we have very different boats, right? So, like, some people you just can't even relate to their problems. They're just so different than your problems. It's okay. Practice some compassion. Listen to what they're going through and be there for them. Hold space for them, even if their values or their problems are completely different than yours or don't even align with yours. So listening to their experience, having a friend listen to your experience, and remember, like, we are in the same storm, but we're in different boats, right? So some people are busier than ever, and some people have newfound free time, but every situation is different, and we're all going through stuff. But, really focusing on being there for each other, and reducing, like, the fear-mongering, like, anxiety-triggering stuff, like social media and news.
Yeah.
Again, you don't have to eliminate it. Just notice yourself reduce it, right?
Yeah. I don't think that you can definitely get motivated and learn things from social media, for sure. Don't get me wrong, but I'd say almost the same thing you're saying with news is, like, don't overfollow. Don't follow, 2,000 to 3,000 accounts, because it's so much information coming at you. So, like, choose, one or two health-minded, like, maybe recipes, maybe one or two, like, body, one or two soul, things that, and then you almost, like, you create a relationship with that account and with that person and that brand, as opposed to so much stuff just coming at you, right? And now Instagram and Facebook also have the sponsored links, which you can't really turn off. So you want to almost feel like a relationship with your accounts and whoever you're following. So just be wary of if you go through your social media, did it make you feel, or did it make you go, oh? And then if it made you go,
watch how you feel.
Delete that. Get rid of it. It serves zero purpose.
Your stomach, if you get a knot in your stomach, but by, like, following somebody constantly, like, it's not for you. Unfollow. So totally true. So last one, number 10.
Last one.
So the benefits of a review and reflection practice. So listen, like, to look back on the last few weeks, this is something we can do anytime. It doesn't have to be through this pandemic, but, like, even during right now, look back on the last few weeks and to uncover, like, thoughts, epiphanies, or new ideas that have come to the surface. Like, think back to who you were. Think back to who you were and what you were doing 3 months ago, and, like, what have you learned since then? What have you accomplished? What have you learned about yourself? What are you, like, loving? What are you disliking? And it's not about living in the past, because that's the one thing I want to get clear about a proper reflection practice is, like, don't live in that past, like, a month ago this traumatizing thing happened and I don't even want to think about it. It's like, okay, well, instead of not living there, and I get it, life can be uncomfortable, it's more just like, what have I learned since then? Okay. And it's more focused on the learning than it is about unearthing and reliving that situation that might be uncomfortable. What have you learned? So it helps give meaning to situations or learnings that have occurred in the past, creating a deeper connection to understanding ourselves more and who we're here to be. And I do my monthly reflection practice is full moon. So in the full moon, I look back at the last full moon and what did I do? Full moon, and then new moon, which is 2 weeks later.
Yes.
I do set my intentions, which is planting seeds. So I plant my seeds on the new moon, and I do a reflection practice on the full moon. And it's amazing to see my dreams coming true from the seeds I planted in the new moon when I reflect back from the full moon to full moon. And does that make sense? So
I love that. And I'm not, like, my best friend Laura, I think she's still watching. She is very into that. I lived with her for a little bit. She'd always be like, oh, it's new moon, or it's full moon, or it's quarter moon. And I'd be like, I don't get it. I don't get what's happening. But I started kind of paying attention to it. And it is crazy that new beginnings do happen with the moon. It's because it's a pull and a push. Like, even if you don't believe in this, you guys, this is real. There's a pull and a push. That's why there's tides. That's why, like, there's
if the moon can control the ocean, I find it really hard to believe. And we're 80% water.
Yeah,
we're 80% water in our bodies.
Yeah.
So if the moon can control the ocean, then like, and I find it really hard to believe that the moon isn't not controlling us, but like that I don't believe that. But like having some sort of impact on us.
100%.
And even emergency, my ER nurse friends are saying like on the full moon in the ER in emergency rooms, full moon nights are like the craziest because people injure themselves on the full moon. Like it brings out the crazy in people. So it's not just like woo woo. Like it's actually it's kind of a thing. So
and I love that because like I was going to ask you like how do you schedule in your reflections and stuff, like when do you do them? But I like how you're organizing them with the full moon and the new moon because
it just makes it easy for me. Yeah,
exactly.
But you can do the 1st of the month and the 30th of the month. Like you can decide. I just do it with the moons, but just once a month, maybe the end of the month, 30th or 31st. Just reflect back on the month and then set your goals for the month. But I just want to be cognizant of time. We're probably going to get cut off in like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
This has been such an awesome conversation. Yeah! Like we could go on for hours, I think, but
yeah, you inspire me so much. I'm so happy that we were able to do this.
Thank you. My gosh. Jenny, seriously, this is such a great conversation, and I love that we got to do this together. We should do more of them.
Absolutely.
And I just want to remind everybody, like everyone, you are so emotionally and mentally and physically resilient. Like this is a crazy time in everyone's life, but you have the ability to bounce back after like a loss or a heartbreak. And as humans, we have this amazing superpower. So like, just be easy on yourselves. Take care of yourselves. This is so important. Self-love is just never, like, it's just so important. And I just want to make sure we leave with that message.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and just remember that these are just tips and tricks that Keri and I have discovered and we've learned about, and we practice ourselves, and that's why we're preaching them. So,
yes. And there's no pressure to do all of these things. I mean, this is just like, if one thing resonates with you, then you can weave it into your life, then absolutely awesome. This is not any pressure. This is, again, I said at the beginning, but we're not in the worst thing is like to create more stress in your life. Nobody needs more things in their life. This is more just like, how can this help you? So take something and grab onto it or try it once a month or once a week, whatever makes sense for you. But I hope this helps. Like, I hope this is something that this resonates with. So.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me, Keri.